is truly, truly an honor. But truthfully, there are a number of people that need to be recognized for their work and worth in the conservation world. I know that Mark Magaña is here from Green Latinos. I know he's been here all week. If Mark Magaña, are you here somewhere? He's the founder of Green Latinos. You should also know who Maite Arce from Hispanic Access Foundation is, as well as Roger Rivera from the Environmental Council. And you know, I realize that most of you, many of you, may have never heard of the agency U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, right? May have no clue of what it is that we do or why it even exists, or may even confuse it with the EPA. I get that a lot. The truth is that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, the way I like to explain it to my family and my friends, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is the Noah's Ark of the federal government. The purpose, it's the Noah's Ark. The purpose of the agency is really to conserve habitat for fish and wildlife, underground, above ground, in the air, for us as people, for us as humans. Porque piensen, si los pescados, si las aves, si los animales están muriendo, algo está mal, ¿verdad? If the fish, the birds, the wildlife, they're dying, there's something wrong. There's something wrong in the environment, in their habitat. There's either something wrong in the water or the air, something is happening. And so we serve and protect, conserve their habitat, not only for their sake, but for ours, for the sake of our future generations. It's the circle of life. I tell a lot of kids sometimes, hey, have you ever seen The Lion King? It's the circle of life. Eventually, somehow or the other, something that ate that bird, that ate that bobcat, will end up eating it some way, somehow. Or if you're a veggie, the plants that we eat, okay, need to be healthy. And if the animals eating them are dying, there's something wrong. We want to make sure that they're okay so that we're okay. But separate from that, you also need to know why some of these conservationists out there are important. You need to know that the current chair of the House Natural Resources Committee is Congressmember Raul Grijalva from Arizona. And I believe, I believe he is actually the first Latino in that chair. It's a very powerful committee in Congress. You need to remember or know that the last secretary for the Department of the Interior, Ken Salazar from Colorado, Latino, that he appointed numerous Latinos during his administration. Latinos like Francisco Carrilla, John Padilla, Celinda Peña, and Diana Archuleta. You need to know that a lot of the work that's happening in the conservation world needs people inside of it to help those agencies meet and work with communities. One of the reasons that LULAC needs to be recognized for the work it's starting to do in the wildlife conservation world is because the service, the agency itself, oversees various industries. Industries like the outdoor recreation, which is about $500 billion a year that it pumps into the U.S. economy. The boating industry alone is an industry driver of about $121 billion. And the service for the work that it does in making sure that it is producing scientists to become the next generation of conservationists, as well as ensuring that its stakeholders, these industries, are able to continue their role in the industry. The service needs to make sure that everyone is connecting to these new audiences like you. The reality is that for the next 50 years, the United States is going to see a drastic change in its demographics. Huge change. And the Latino community, the African American, American Indian, Asian American, we are all going to be or have to fill in some shape or form those science seats, those STEMs roles, their conservationist roles. We're going to have to somehow, some way, some or the other, fill those seats in those industries. So LULAC, you are trailblazing today. You. My role as a federal employee is really a cross between being a pit bull and an ogre, unfortunately. Being a feisty, fiery Latina battle ram is thanks in part for being allowed to be that, sorry to say. Dan Ash, the director of the agency, is one of those diversity champions who has made the decision that part of his role with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is to begin that shift with the service to prepare it for the next 50 years. Rowan Gold, the previous deputy director for the agency, was one of those diversity champions before he retired that wanted to make sure that the agency and these industries were prepared for those 50 years. And it's because of their support that someone like myself in the federal government can do what we can do. I also want to thank Doug Hobbs and Betsy Hildebrandt for their support. I want to also thank someone who's in the audience today. Her name is Andrea Johnson. She actually was a student ambassador. She's one of those students that the service was able to pipeline into STEM's programs. The same type of program, the same type of effort the service wants to do with LULAC. Andrea is sitting here. She's from the Chamorro tribe from Guam, and she's now a park ranger. We need LULAC's youth to fill that next generation of jobs in STEMs desperately. It is because of her and LULAC's youth that conservation, the wildlife conservation world, and the industries associated with it will continue to exist and thrive. I also want to thank my mom, who quite frankly came to the U.S. by way of Guanajuato and Chihuahua with a third-grade education. Truth be told, it is all those people and more, Brent, President Moran, Silvia, even where's Sarita? I haven't seen Sarita the whole conference because I know she's very busy. All of those people are the reason that I'm getting this award, quite honestly. And it is because of them that I can do the work that I do. And so I want to thank them, and I want to dedicate this award to them. So thank you, and thank you, LULAC.